Welcome, Solarah here. I hope you guys are all doing okay today. I am here to do a reading. I have some downloads I'm going to take a look into, and then I'll pull some cards and see what is going on. A lot of shadow and karmic energies flying, as tends to be the case during Scorpio season, for the simple fact that Scorpio is the sign of the zodiac that invites us to go deep in order to shed energies that we're no longer taking with us moving forward. And whenever we're challenged to go deep and shed those energies, it's always things that we've either had problems like letting go of in the past. We've gained some kind of unhealthy attachment to a behavior, or we are living in some kind of repression or denial, because the Scorpio energy is here for us to go into the deepest aspects of our own psyches and to deal with all of the barriers that keep us out of our own greatness. And yes, to some extent, those barriers are external, because Scorpio also deals with like the occult and fuckery. But for the most part, Scorpio energy is really about the rebirth that comes from the internal changes and the aligning with the fullness of our power, the aspects that we've been taught to reject and shame, because the spells of the Matrix are all about programming us into shame, as well as the aspects that we find difficult to to see ourselves in that kind of light. So Scorpio energy is here for us to bring all of that into the 0 point. So the energies that we would consider to be like our shadow energies, those energies we don't want to confront in ourselves, let alone have other people see, those energies, as well as those energies of who we have the potential to be, but it seems so far off. Scorpio energy is here to help us to do the work to bring that all into the 0 point, because our power lies in those energies that we have been shamed out of and repressed also. And I just did an article about that yesterday. So anyway, the the download that was coming through on Thursday for me was somebody doesn't like how talented, creative, gifted, or multifaceted you are. Someone does not like how talented, creative, gifted, or multifaceted you are. And I was just talking about this to a client earlier on, because people are really fucking hilarious. And I know some of you are sitting here watching right now. Hello. 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 So people are very funny because they put limitations on what it is that they think you should be, or how much you should shine. And I was saying to a fellow soul earlier on, says like, it's so funny because when you start to introduce a certain gift and everyone is all gung-ho about it, you have a lot of support. But the minute you start to introduce gifts that make people feel a little bit uncomfortable because now they feel like you have too much, the energy can begin to shift. And I've had that happen to me many times in my life, where I've had a gift that somebody has been vibing with and it's helped them in some way, and then they become threatened when I start to move higher or to express myself in different ways. And that, of course, is because that energy is all about, it triggers people. It triggers people, and a lot of the time the irony of the trigger is that it's actually showing you, it's showing us when we feel that way, where we actually have that gift and talent too that we haven't locked. But because of these shame narratives, envy spells of the Matrix, a lot of the time we're conditioned or we're programmed to shadow sling instead of going within and reclaiming a part of ourselves that oftentimes is locked within the shadow energies. It's locked within those very energies that we have been shamed out of accessing. And bear in mind that the energies that you're shamed out of accessing aren't always energies that are shameful. So for example, you can be shamed out of using your voice. And there's nothing wrong with the power of your voice. You can be shamed out of utilizing the fullness of your sexual and creative energy, and there's nothing wrong with that either. So people, beings, groups, corporations, factions, whoever and whatever it was that programmed you out of your power, the way they do it all the time is through that energy of shame. Shame is not only the lowest vibration on the vibrational scale, but shame is the epitome of self-rejection. It causes us to reject ourselves completely. It causes us to deny aspects of self. It causes us to push those things away as if they don't belong to us. And the whole point of all of these spells and the control that they try to have over us in the Matrix was to keep us fragmented. So the best way to keep a person fragmented is to keep them ashamed, right? So anyway, back to the message. Someone doesn't like how talented, creative, gifted, or multifaceted you are, or that you seemingly bounce too easily back from things that are meant to destroy you. They don't like that you bounce back too easily. They don't like specific talents that you have. They don't like that you're multi-talented. That's what I was getting. It's not that, like I said, it was this energy that I've been picking up on it a lot, because a lot of, divine beings in their power, when you begin to rise, you begin to realize just how much of your talents and your gifts and your powers you've been repressing, and you start to explore it. And you often tend to think, when you begin to wake up, that those closest to you are going to celebrate the fact that you are reviving all of these beautiful aspects of yourself. But those are the very ones that are the haters that try to push you back down into that place where they're comfortable. You see, some people don't mind you shining, but they like to put a limitation on how much. You shine too bright and they're just like, oh no, you're doing too much now, I can't take that. And that's their fucking problem. Okay, that's their fucking problem, not yours. So the funny thing about this is that you may be completely estranged physically or no longer around this person, these beings, okay? But the nature of energy work and magic is that it will always find the path of least resistance, okay? So, and whenever you've had, this was an important note, whenever you've had a strong emotional history or resonance with someone, it is it's easier for their magic and energy work to find inroads to you. So whenever you've had a strong emotional history or resonance with someone else, and when they send out energy towards you, whether it's conscious or unconscious, so it can be literally the evil eye because of their own insecurity. It can be them casting conscious spells. It could be them projecting their wounded self. It doesn't matter. Whenever you are the target of that energy, if you've had a strong emotional history or resonance with that being or beings, it's easier for that magic, those inroads, to get to you. Okay, and the reason why it tends to be easier is because there is that link in the energy. So this is why we're constantly cutting cords, because when somebody is able to connect to your energy, even if it's just by thinking about you, and they've had some kind of access to you, especially emotionally, because you had love for them, or you've shared intimacy with them, and not just sex. I mean, like the intimate details of, that they've seen you warts and all of that stuff. Wherever intimacy is built, emotional resonance is established. And the more you have that with a being, the more when they start to think about you in good or bad ways, the more that energy can begin to have an effect on your fields. So when you think about it, if you have people who are then, these people you've had an emotional history with, casting spells intentionally towards you. And the thing about a spell is that it's more conscious energy that's directed with an intention, versus a projection or evil eye, or what was I saying? A projection or evil eye, or just like having bad thoughts about a person, where it's not like they're targeting you. It's just their own insecurity. And we all fall prey to that from time to time, right? But when somebody is consciously sending you something, there's more power behind it. And there's also more power behind it if they've had that emotional history and resonance with you. And this is important because, like I said, this being might not be in your reality anymore physically, or they may have very limited access to you physically. And yet you may have been getting this funky hater type of behavior. And you may have been getting this funky hater type of behavior, or maybe it's not even just recently. Maybe this is just a narrative that keeps on playing in your life. So today I'm going to tell you why. So you're always attracting this funky hater energy, or this has been a part of your reality because it felt like it was magnified this week. And there's a reason for that also, because as we move through Scorpio season, we've just entered into the second decan of Scorpio, which is Six of Cups energy. So now we are confronting past life situations, contracts, karmic situations, a lot of the energy that is ready to 144 on my clock, a lot of that energy that is ready to be dispelled and dismissed because of the levels of work that you've already been doing, it's coming up. Okay, so at every level, when you heal yourself and you reach a higher frequency, the old narratives and stories that were from where you were before you did the healing, all of that must collapse. And a lot of the time those energies are also connected to karmic timelines. And when you get to the point where you're able to reach the higher frequency, the karmic timelines that supported the old energy will oftentimes be exposed to you also. So we're going through a window right now, and I just wrote about this on my Substack. We're going through a window right now while the moon is in Leo and the sun is in Scorpio. We're going through this window of energy where a lot of that is being brought to light for as long as you want to. The energy is available to assist us in doing that. Let's put it that way. So, like I said, you may have been receiving funky hater type energy of behavior, and it could be from strangers, from coworkers, from clients, etc. Okay, and the reason that is because, like I said, magic and energy work will always find the path of least resistance to you. And so once upon a time, what this energy is feeling like, once upon a time, this being who is, it's kind of, well, not kind of, they're big mad that you are tapping into a lot of these lost gifts and talents that you have. And a part of it also feels like they're big mad because the work that they've been doing has been directly in order to lock you out of that. Now again, that can be conscious magic work, that can be just mental and emotional manipulation, psychological games. It can be all manner of things. But either way, someone's big mad that you are unlocking gifts and talents. They're big mad that you are bouncing back from things that you weren't supposed to bounce back from. And for some of you, you're bouncing back from fucking death energy and death magic that they've been sending into your fields that you weren't supposed to recover from, because that's a big one. There was a lot of death energy that was cast towards certain beings, especially in the month of October, utilizing the power of the equinox, the full moon in Aries, and these eclipse windows. And when I tell you, I keep on hearing this one line: death becomes her, death becomes her, death becomes her. A lot of these beings are about to receive kickback in the aftermath, especially as we rise into this new moon in Scorpio energy. And Scorpio really deals with this this occult energy also. Those ones who've been casting, because I did a pre-pull before I came on here, and one card that came out that really stuck out to me was this card that says sending energy when they're ungrounded. Okay, a lot of these beings have become so used to using this season against you. Okay, and maybe they haven't had as much of a foothold in the past couple of years, but for some of you, this is the year really where a lot of the stuff that they've done to you through this Scorpio window, utilizing the power of these energies that are ultimately designed to put you in balance and to help you to rise into your power. For those of you who've been doing like the healing work, and you've been doing the shadow work, you've been reclaiming your power, you've been combating the spells, whatever way you have to do that, whether it's return to sender or grounding. The most important thing you can do, though, is own your power, because the more grounded you are, the less they're able to shake you in your fields, or the less their spells are able to actually stick and root and ground and take effect. So this was showing me, with this card coming out, skilling ground while ungrounded, that energy works like a figure eight, like an infinity symbol. If they are throwing you magic and they're not grounded and you're grounded, then the kickback that they're going to get for sending you that is going to be more powerful. And it's not even going to be because of anything that you've done, even though some of you might be sending this shit back with a kick, and they deserve it, because stay the fuck out of our fields, right? Stay the fuck out of my fields. Stay the fuck out of my fields. Take your death magic and stick it up your ass. Okay? These people who think that they can play God over everyone, take your death magic, wrap it up, I don't know, and kind of like, maybe you could even make it into a boomerang effect and stick it up your, well, not a boomerang, but like maybe a firework or something, since it is Guy Fawkes night here in the UK. Take your firework death magic, let's wrap it up, and we'll stick it right back up your ass, because that's how I feel about all of these shenanigans. That's how I feel about it at this point. And that's how we should all feel about it at this point. And I'm not saying you have to return with spice, but if you do, you're not wrong. Okay? You're not wrong for doing that, because these beings have been pushing and pushing and pushing themselves, trying to force their narratives, trying to force their spells, trying to block people's paths for too long. It's enough of this shit. It's always been enough, but it's definitely enough now. So the reason why the funky hater type energy might be coming through people like strangers, co-workers, clients, etc., is because these are the beings who are being used to project the spell towards you. Because whoever it is that was sending them, they can no longer access you physically. Okay, so energy, when you direct it intentionally in this way, it will always choose a path of least resistance. This was quite the lesson for me when I began to learn it, because when you begin to get this, and when you start to look at how things are unfolding, if you start to watch certain patterns that are happening in your day, you can see the pathway of the energy, how it's playing out or how it's wanting to play out in your fields. Okay, so if somebody is casting and projecting, for example, an energy of you, because they have an issue, let's say their issue with you is that they don't want you to access your talents. Maybe they don't want you to outshine them. Maybe they don't want you accessing your talent and your creative abilities because they're in one of these shisty, shady, shitty deals with one of these orders, groups, coven societies, factions, whatever the fuck, where they've been siphoning your sacral energy, and so therefore they need to keep you in a state of depletion so that they can constantly keep you at the frequency they need to harvest you. Okay, so maybe that's the case, right? But so when they are, let's say they're sending you then energy that makes you feel like you're an imposter. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of ways they're going to attack you and your creative flow. They might, they might cast energies against your clients. Okay, so cast energies that would cause people to reject you or to question your craft. Okay, in which case you're really fucked. Those beings who do that are really fucked, because not only are they coming against one being's field and trying to mess with their reality, they're breaking universal law by trying to come against multiple people's fields. So the kickback and the karma for those of you assholes who do that shit and people call karmic justice is even fucking greater. When I tell you, firework death magic up the ass, mwah, that's what that is. Anyway, I'm feeling like, feisty tonight. So, and now I lost what I was saying. What was I saying? So some of the ways it will try to attack your creative flow, that would be one way. Okay, so try to attack your ability to get clients and support, because then it's going to cause you to think that what it is you're doing doesn't have any appeal. So that's one way. So they want to attack your confidence and to discourage you. That would be one thing. Okay, another thing they might do, and I was just talking to someone about this tonight, they might make you feel exhausted, so you don't feel like you want to put the energy, exhausted, lethargic, depressed. That's another one, right? And then, of course, the imposter syndrome causes you to doubt yourself, and that can be tied to the fucking around with clients. Also, and this is another one, it was coming out in the pre-shuffle, you know, sending you blocks against your finances, because your finances are connected with your sacral flow, which is your creativity also. So if you don't feel secure and stable because you have to deal with, you know, worrying about finances, you can't connect with that part of yourself either. You can't connect with that part. You can't connect with your gifts. You can't connect comfortably in that energy. And so that might be another way they're doing that. But for many of you, what was really coming through is that they're using these strangers, co-workers, clients in ways to cause you to really doubt yourself, to deplete your confidence. A lot of like casting of the evil eye is what I'm seeing. Like a lot of like distorting the way people perceive. That's really what it comes down to, because that's also, it's almost like this energy of wanting people to see you through their eyes. That's what I was getting. Wanting people to see you and to see you through their eyes and respond to you in all of the ways that they have, like rejected you, shamed you, shunned you, belittled you, all of that. And this isn't a very surprising energy, because as I was writing about this earlier on today too, is that, oh, I've got more notes, sorry. It's not a surprising energy, because as we move into the Six of Cups, it's not only past life stuff, but there's been a very strong karmic family, themes that I've been feeling in the collective energy this week too. And that's partly because as we move to this 11/11 portal window and we move through the Six of Cups energy to get there, like I said, Scorpio season is about getting rid of the karmic stories that connected us to the lower energy, or the energy that we are graduating from. Okay? Another reason is Scorpio season, it brings out the darkest and most hidden aspects of our psyches, right? So like I was telling you before, Scorpio energy affords us the opportunity to dive deep and to do shadow work. But it also, it affords us the opportunity, but if you don't see it as an opportunity, you can see it as an attack, right? People see it as, you know, the people who don't like doing real self-inventory and taking accountability for their own emotional truth, don't like this kind of energy, right? So people who can't handle all aspects of themselves without judgment, without like judging themselves, and especially judging themselves based upon matrix metrics, they will project and deflect to prevent themselves from falling into being ashamed. And it's actually, I want to be able to articulate this in a way that makes sense. So a lot of the time when people will project and deflect because they don't want to feel ashamed, what they're actually doing is locking themselves deeper into that shame. Because one of the most important things that you have to do with shadow work is not run from your shame or the shaming energy when it comes up, but run into it. Run into it and ask it, what the fuck do you want from me? What is the issue? What do we need to talk about? And even better, sit with your shadow and be like, what's up, dude? What's going on here? Why are we feeling this way? And your shadow will then begin to tell you, it's because when we were 5 years old, this happened, and we didn't have the ability to say anything. And then your inner child will come on board too and relay the story. And that will be a time where you can say to your shadow, look, I'm really sorry that I didn't let you rise at that time and say what you needed to say. I'm really sorry that you felt you were in a position where you were repressed, but you don't have to rebel anymore. This isn't our reality anymore. I'm going to let you come out and play, but you have to come out and play underneath my guidelines because you're here to protect me. But what you're doing right now is you're jumping into a self-defense mode that actually is going to imprison us even more. So let's sit down and talk about this, okay? Those are the kind of conversations we need to be having with our shadow. Most people have the depth of a kiddie pool and so don't want to bother to deep dive, right? Simple as that. Shame is a prison, but it's also the doorway out if you face it and you talk to it. Say that again. So shame is a prison, but it's also the doorway out if you face it and talk to it. One more time for the people in the back, and because of the power of 3. Shame is a prison, but it's also a doorway out if you face it and you talk to it. This is the case with everything. What is the poison is the cure. Like I said before, when energies come up that want to shame, you don't run away from them, you run into them. It's like when people want to come up and say things to you that are supposed to rock your world. One of the greatest ways to throw them off balance is to be like, yeah, you're right. Especially when they want to like throw things in your face, like try to one up you or say things like, you have a problem with this. If you turn around and you say to them, yeah, you're right, I'm working on it, I'm very aware, they can't say shit to you anymore because you've taken ownership of that energy for yourself and you've therefore taken it away from them. It's kind of the same thing, but you're doing it also internally. So people who can't face themselves fully are easy targets for magic. People who cannot face themselves fully are easy targets for magic. People who cannot face themselves fully, cannot embrace the lightest and darkest aspects of self and realize that they're multidimensional beings in which all of that can exist in harmony. People who aren't able to, first of all, recognize that and therefore aren't able to go into the darkness of their own souls to recover those areas of self where they've been so deeply shamed are easy targets for magic. Why is that, Solarah? They're easy targets for magic because that's where the magic can hide. That's where the entities can hide. You know why the magic and the entities can hide there? Because they know that that's the one place in their energy that they're never going to go to, right? These people don't bother to do shadow work. Where are we going to hide? Oh yeah, that's right, in their shadows. Because they never go and deal with them. They never pick them up. They never take ownership of them. They never do anything. So let's hide there. So, people who can't face themselves fully are easy targets for magic. That means that when you're dealing with someone who is magically attacking you or using energy work to attack you or even using the evil eye, all that needs to happen is for somebody to be in your vicinity who has that same wound as what the energy needs to attach to. So in other words, if they need someone to cast the evil eye on you and look down on you, all they need is someone with a wound, someone with an inferiority complex who hasn't done the healing of that wound. Because that energy can easily jump into them and use them as a conduit without them even realizing it because they have no kind of security. You see, when you do shadow work, when you are able to own every aspect of yourself and these energies try to come and jump and use you as a conduit against yourself or others, you begin to realize, wait a hot fucking minute, that's not my energy. Most people are just open conduits for energy to flow through them that doesn't belong to them, and they're none the wiser. They have no idea because they can't tell their energy from Jack, Jill, and Jason's. They don't know. They don't know because they haven't done the self-work to get to know themselves. They're in constant states of self-rejection. So how can you know yourself if you're constantly rejecting? Okay, so people who can't face themselves fully are easy targets for magic, evil eye, and energy work being projected your way, because their woundedness and their inability, not just their woundedness, but their inability to recognize their own propensity to fall into certain states because of their woundedness. It creates a perfect environment for them to project animosity towards you. And when they do that, when they project the animosity towards you, which is a deflecting, projecting, it's to run away from the deep, deep shame that they have for self that they don't want to deal with. So, in other words, when an energy wants to jump and use a person as a conduit against someone else, if they are not used to doing shadow work and confronting their own darkness, it's easy for them to bounce that energy back into someone else's fields because they don't want to feel ashamed. But what they're actually doing is, because they never realized that that energy wasn't theirs to begin with, that they're just bouncing around and pushing around, because they never realized that energy was theirs to begin with, they actually are running away from the opportunity to combat something that needs to be combated. In other words, there are people who, like, being triggered is an example of this. The trigger is an opportunity to dive deeper into the wound and heal. But many people, when they get triggered, instead of seeing the possibility for healing, they will become combative and reactive, as if the energy that's come their way isn't kind of there to help them rise. And that is, unfortunately, the majority of people. So this is why and how magic can flow to you through strangers. And that doesn't even, begin to explain also fully how entities jump, because that's another thing. There are always entities jumping, and entities can only jump into the energetic flow of somebody who matches their frequency. They can't access a body or use someone who is not in alignment with their frequency. I hope that makes sense. So anyway, I think those are all my notes. That's a whole different set of downloads. There's a lot of Lemurian and Atlantean codes that are being reactivated right now, especially those that are what reactivate like divine mother wisdom and like deep divine feminine wisdom that's been lost through all the fragmentation cycles of the matrix. And this is also why there's a lot of this distorted feminine energy that is flying right now at this particular period. And the truth is, it's been flying for a while. But there are certain windows that, because of what is coming through, that energy will always feel more pronounced. So right now, in other words, the distorted feminine energies, karmic mother energies, for example, are big right now. A lot of those karmic stories are ending, and they're karmic mother energies that have presented themselves maybe through mothers in these timelines, but they are energies that have to leave across timelines, because it's deeper than just the person. The person is just the presentation of the energy, if that makes sense. So there's a lot of, for that reason, there's a lot of there's a heightening of the distorted feminine energies right now that are flying. Okay, let's get into the cards. I call you fat or ugly, so you believe nobody else would want you. So some of you have been dealing with attacks against your self-image. That would be that would be that would be spell work. At the bottom of the deck, we do have seeing you lose makes me feel like a winner. So this is a form of energy harvesting right here, where another person likes to see somebody else in despair because it makes them feel like they're a bigger person. It's the way somebody harnesses a fake sense of confidence. It's solar plexus thievery. Okay, it's how somebody feels confident. They derive their confidence from somebody else being in pain. That's not how, obviously, that's not how we're supposed to get our confidence. We're supposed to get our confidence from just being who we are. So when people engage in that kind of energy, they do so by indulging in another person's pain, yes, but also sometimes actually creating situations whereby that person will be in pain, or the pain that they're in is sustained for a longer period of time because it makes them feel better. I was too many cards. I was just talking about this in a reading a few readings ago, where I was saying that there's so, you know, a lot of the time we're told that your real friends are the ones that are with you in the bad times, right? And we believe that, but I came to realize that your true friends are the ones who can watch you rise and actually continue to cheer you on. Because a lot of the time, people love to see you down and out, and people will even gravitate towards beings who they feel are in a lower state than them, so that they can perpetually feel better by feeding off of their pain. So for some of you, for that to come up, the person that has been projecting this is one of those friendship scenarios that you may have had in the past, where this being actually liked to see you heartbroken, liked to see you suffering, liked to see you struggling, because it made them feel better about themselves. It made them feel like they were above you. And you should know, a lot of the time when people have this complex where they want to feel like they're above you, it's because on unconscious levels, and sometimes unconscious levels, they know your power. So it gives them like a rush to see you disempowered, because they know how powerful you are. And a lot of the time that ties into a karmic story also. I never apologize because I'm never wrong. What did I just say? I know you're powerful. I get a rise out of you not knowing this and controlling you, and therefore limiting your power. Can you believe that? I know you're powerful, and I get a rise out of you not knowing this and controlling you and limiting your power. So this is also a scenario. This might be your reading, or you might think about a person who, whenever you got into any kind of conflict, not only would they never apologize, but they may have made you feel like it was always you. Like you were this is like scapegoating energy. Okay, where they always made you take responsibility, even for their own fucked up bad behavior. For some of you, like even like reacting to their abuse. You know, like how so many times abusers will try to turn the story around and make you the villain, or even call you the abuser because you won't take their abuse. That's that kind of energy. I lie to you to get what I want at all costs. So this is a person who was or is a pathological liar. I think we're done. I don't want others to love you. And the energy that was coming out a lot, it came out in a few different, it came out across decks in the pre-pull, was that energy of I don't want others to love you, but it was mostly also, it's not only that I don't want others to love you, but it's like I want to keep you contained so that others, it was very much about controlling the narrative around so that others cannot accept, others cannot see who you are. It again is that energy that I was picking up on and I was sharing with you guys about how they will cast spells against the people who are supposed to be supporting or like supporting your creativity or supporting your rise or supporting your shine. They will cast spells specifically to mess with their perception of you. Rejection spells, repulsion spells, casting illusions against you specifically. And like I said before, those assholes that have been doing that, they not only, once you call karmic justice, and I'm telling you now, if you know this is happening to you, make sure when you call karmic justice that you call it not only for them breaching universal law by trying to command your reality and energy, but also for every single being that they've done that to in that karmic shenanigan spell that they've tried to cast against you. Okay, make sure you get justice for everyone. Because here's the truth also. Here's the truth also. For some of you, especially those of you, like, let's talk about those of you who are here to do something to help the collective. When they cast spells like that against your image, against your reputation, against the way people perceive you and are therefore able to benefit from your work that you've been sent here to do divinely, when they do that, not only are they messing with you, for some of you, they're messing with hundreds, thousands, millions, possibly even billions of people. Yeah. Yeah, because energy has it doesn't even mean that you have to be in front of all those people, but energy has a knock-on effect. And you were placed here to have an effect whereby whatever it is that you were sent here to do, you were sent here to change the world. And so when they fuck with your destiny, they're fucking with your ability to reach every single soul you were sent here to help. So you make sure when you go and call karmic justice on these fucking assholes, that you call it on behalf of all of those people that have missed an opportunity to rise because they've been fucking in your fields. Okay? Gang stalking, false power in numbers. Now this came out. If the tracking fucked up, I don't give a fuck. Okay, I'm sorry. It's nothing to do with you guys, but it's to do with these fucking energies. I don't give a fuck. I will continue speaking. Thank you. This is exactly what came out in the pre-shuffle, and it's exactly what I'm talking about also. So it's attacks against the 11th house. Okay, so the 11th house is what it is you've come here. It's your Aquarian energy. The 11th house is the house that is ruled by Aquarius collectively. It's where you come up and you begin to help community. It's where you wear your humanitarian hat. It's how you're here to be of service to the collective in this age. And the fact that this gang stalking and false power in numbers has come out is an indication to me that this is many people that they have that are working in this initiative to to stop you from being able to take up the mantle of what it is that you've actually come here to do. And this energy was coming out before, but here it is again. Self-image and body image. And this again is to do, like it was coming out with, I call you fat or ugly. This is to do with, they want people to be really hypercritical of you. And that's another fucking spell that they like to cast, right? Where, not only is it that people's perception of you is skewed, but how is it skewed? So if you are hypercritical and hyper-judgmental of a person, that's not a very nice energy to send their way. And it's also a blockage between you being able to receive whatever that person has been sent to give you. If you're constantly not paying attention to their message, but you're constantly picking them apart, right? Or finding fault in what they're saying, or finding fault in them, you are being distracted. And this is an energy that is being casted and projected. It is a form of distraction to take your attention off of what is actually being said. Or for those of you who this is the energy that's happening for you, it's to take other people's attention off of what it is you're actually doing, or what it is you're actually saying. In other words, it's to take other people's attention off of your art, off of your message, and for many of you, this is again what you've been sent here to do. So it's to detract from the truth and get them focused on things that have nothing to do with their own elevation. So like I said before, and I'm going to say it again, when you call karmic justice on these fuckers, make sure that you call karmic justice on them for not only violating your fields, but for violating the fields of those who they've been casting these spells against to skew their perception of you. And not only that, call karmic justice on every lost opportunity and every being that has lost the opportunity to rise because of this shit. Somebody knows that it's time for you to elevate in some way. They see it, and at every turn, it's like they can't directly affect you. And like the energy was saying, I threw my book, but like the energy was saying in one of the downloads I wrote, it was like they can't stand that you keep bouncing back. Like, how the fuck do you keep bouncing back? How are you the fucking road runner? How do you keep bouncing back from everything? It's like you're a fucking cartoon character. How you keep bouncing back. And more importantly, how you keep on bouncing back better than what you were before they tried to take you out. Riddle me that. Mercurial magic. Mercurial magic. So that's messing with your mental health. That's messing with your ability to communicate yourself properly. But it's also messing with, again, people's ability to perceive you properly. This is what this is. Okay? Yeah. Accidents and misfortune. That did come out. Accidents and misfortune. That came out in the pre-pull twice, so it's here again. Okay, accidents and misfortune. So they've been sending that kind of energy. So that again is like what I said to you before. It's like they can't get why when they send you this stuff, it's not working the way they want it to work, or even if it does enter into your reality, it doesn't stick. It doesn't have an effect, and it doesn't. And you keep bouncing back from it. They don't get how you're alchemizing this shit. They don't get how you're a fucking alchemist. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? That's too many cards. I said it before. Money blocks, trying to make you feel, it came out in the other reading, the prequel, 6th house also attacks against your stability and how you're able to feel secure in your day-to-day. So money blocks, this is again to do with messing with your security, 222 on my clock, messing with your security, messing with your ability to do what it is that you have to do in order to look after yourself, messing with the foundation that you need or that you've begun to put in place in order for you to be able to do what it is that you've come here to do for the collective. Because again, this is 11th house. Another message coming through with this self-image and body image. This is also energies that have been cast towards you to make you doubt the validity of who you are and what it is you're doing. It again is a form of imposter syndrome, but it's even for some of you old wounds surrounding certain things that you've struggled with in terms of like your body, your weight, your beauty, whatever it is. Like, and for some of you, these are the very issues that are coming up that for some of you were planted by these people. Okay, planted by this person, these people, and a lot of the time that will be again, you know, family stuff, families that make you feel, karmic family energies that were coming up earlier on that have this tendency to make you feel, you know, less than, or to make you feel insecure about certain aspects of self. We do have an army of angels, and we have while you were sleeping. So you're protected. They may be trying to access you in dream state. And that's always the case anyway. But I really do feel more than anything, it's like you have an army of angels. And more than like them trying to access you in dream state, I feel like some of you are getting angelic interventions as you sleep. That may have to do with protecting you from, you know, dream fuckery. But more than anything, I feel like it's there to make you, it's almost there, it's like to shield you from the energies of the attacks that the attacks want to make you feel really down on yourself. And you've got like, I'm seeing like an arm, I'm seeing like angels shielding you as you sleep from some of these energies. And what came through, hatred energy and evil eye. So again, like I said to you, that is the stuff that's been happening with other beings, strangers, clients, co-workers, whoever is around you in your fields on a daily basis. You know, like I said, it could even be strangers if that's the only way they can get to you. To cast that like hater energy. Second house. Some of you are like actively, like I said with this money blocks, you're actively building, you've been actively building a foundation for yourself, and they don't like how at every turn they're not able to fully knock that down. It's like even if they're able to shake it a little bit, they're not able to completely destroy it. And again, we have this like, you know, once upon a time, this was like easy work for them. It was like easy peasy. It was a given that this time of the year, they could cause everything that you had to collapse. And they can't do that anymore. And that's also what's pissing them off. And a lot of you are making, if this is your reading, you are creating a foundation, you are creating stability for yourself through your talents, because this is what they had a problem with. I was getting this download because I have this card, just to give you the backstory. I have this card that kept on falling as I say that. My throat. Fuck you. It's my energy, my throat. I have this card that on Thursday kept on falling down. And it kept falling down, and I didn't get it at first until my guys are saying, pay attention. And this card just says, I have lots of talents. I'm sorry, it's a bit dirty because it's been It's got some candle wax on it, but it says, I have lots of talents. And it's a card that I just keep up next to, next to a plant here on my desk. It's just like a reminder, kind of. I got it from, I think I ordered a crystal or something, and they give these like cards, and I have it here, and it kept on falling on Thursday. Every time I came into my room, it was falling. It was falling until I finally got the message, why it kept falling. And then as soon as I opened that up, all of the downloads started to come through about this energy. But yeah, they don't like that you are utilizing the power of your talents. And again, this doesn't have to even just be, this can be even the fact that you are learning how to be more financially savvy. You're learning how to, get out of lack programming. You're learning how to connect. It doesn't always have to be, spiritual gifts. It can be any way you are utilizing your own ability to rise. They don't like it because they had you programmed in a state where you were unstable and you weren't able to access these resources within yourself. I was also getting a lot of religious energy once again. People praying, quote unquote. And again, that's group activity. So definitely for some of you, that's karmic family shit. People getting together and gossiping and using you as a fucking prayer point. And really, it's witchcraft. It's spell work. It's binding someone against their will. And you know what you do with that too? You call karmic justice on them also. And you let the universe deal in the way they want to deal. And I'll tell you why you do that. Because even for people who are innocently trying to do that because they think it's a nice thing to do, I was one of those people. I'm so glad I was schooled on not doing that. And what you're doing when you call karmic justice, if the people are innocent, they're not going to get like a horrible karmic kickback, but they will begin to get very real lessons on universal law. And those lessons will be lessons that save their asses. So call karmic justice and let the universe dole it out as they will. We are not here to try to pray people into a kingdom of heaven that they don't want to be in. We are not here to save their souls from some, what's it called? I can't even think of the word right now. It's too late at night. But we're not here to save their souls from going to hell, quote unquote. Hell is a state of mind. And I know this energy is circulating because I've had some of it like in my comments, and I remove that shit. When people try to come and tell me something about Jesus and how blah blah blah, like anything that is too aggressive, I will move it. I will move it, and I will block them, because I'm not here to be. I don't do that. What's it called? The evangelism and proselytizing. It's not okay with me. I'll tell you why it's not okay, because even their own book, the Bible, Jesus himself in the red writing told them not to do that. You know how the people who stand out on the corner screaming out the kingdom of heaven, blah, 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 trying to get people to be saved before they go to hell? That is not biblical. It's not biblical. Jesus said that you go into a village to share the gospel with people, and if they don't want to hear it, you wipe the sand off of your sandals and you keep moving. He didn't say to run them down, to shout it on the street tops and all. He didn't say to do any of that. He didn't. So a lot of the time when you are running into people who are doing that, all of that evangelism, street evangelism, give me an example in the Bible where Jesus ever went somewhere and announced himself by yelling out loud. I'll wait, because it didn't happen. And if you have a problem with me saying that, I'm probably not the reader for you. And that's A-okay. And just for the record, I love me some Jesus. I really do. I love me some, let's say, I love me some Yeshua. But what I don't love is how they've taken his energy and turned it into something he was never meant to be. That I don't love. That I don't vibe with. Fairy of the Highlands, it's time to be brave. Snow Angel, the signs are with you already. It's time to be brave. Ooh, this is feeling like this energy is wanting to, it's like push you out of something you need to do that requires for you to overcome some kind of barrier within yourself. And the barrier within yourself that you have to overcome is partly to do, it's not to do with the spell work. The spell work exploits this, but it's to do with the programming that the spell work wants to attach to, 233. So, for example, if this is a karmic family energy, and I'm picking up heavy karmic family energy here, doesn't have to be though. This is trying to play on like the ways that trying to play on the narratives and the programs that they have spoken over you, especially as a child. That were the energies that were used to control you in some way. Control your power. That was the card that was coming out. I know you're powerful. I get a rise out of you not knowing. So this again is, and even if this isn't a karmic family, this is somebody using your own, like any kind of doubt you have or insecurity, trying to magnify that to keep you from moving towards something that you need to do, but it requires for you to rise into this place of like powerful self-assurance. 2, 3, 4, it's time to go. It's time to move forward. It's time for you to move forward in something. And this might be your reading if you keep on procrastinating on something, or something keeps on coming up to try to delay you. And for some of you, that accident, misfortune energy, that's how it's playing out here. For some of you, like the money blocks and the accident and misfortune energy is playing out by you like saving up enough money to do something that may have to do with this decision. And then all of a sudden something pops up and you have to use that money for it instead. You get what I'm saying? Like this is like trying to, and then also like in that way trying to discourage you from thinking that you're going to be able to make this move. And for some of you, it's a physical move. It is. And for others of you, it's like a something that you need to do as a next step. It could even be like some kind of investment you have to make because of what it is you've come here to do. And at every turn when you get a little bit closer, it feels like you get pulled back. And for many of you, you get pulled back financially because some kind of unexpected expense comes up, for example. That's also how the accident and misfortune energy can play in its lower expression. Because ultimately, a lot of the time what they want with these energies is the worst. And that doesn't mean that, you know, that doesn't mean that what you experience isn't, you know, terrible too. But a lot of the time it's not as bad as what it is that they actually wanted to achieve. Snow Angel, the signs are with you already. Wherever you're feeling like you're lacking some kind of stability to move forward, but you're feeling it, and in your material reality, there's something that's having you experience that materially. That's an illusion, for one thing. And for another thing, whatever it is that you're going to need to create or enforce the stability you've already begun to build for yourself in order to get to the next level, that is secured for as long as you know this. Because at every turn, this energy is wanting to take you into a place where you think that's not the case, so you kind of sabotage yourself, is also what I'm getting here. I'm going to go into some tarot, and then we'll wrap it up. Because, yeah, again, like, there is this, like, this card, seeing you lose makes me feel like a winner. So there's something here about how this energy is designed to set you up for losses. And it probably, especially if you're dealing with these energies that have been doing this for a while, this has been part of the patterns they've been playing into for a while. But it feels like you've overcome a lot of that to get way farther, and then you have these situations now where even though you've overcome a lot of things, this energy is still, you know, showing up in different ways. And it feels like that's what it is. It's showing up in ways where you are, because it feels financial, it feels like you get to a certain level and you think that you're almost there, and then all of a sudden there's something that has to be done. There's some kind of expense, and it feels like it takes you back. But your guides are wanting you to know that you're still on track. Something to do with the winter, something to do with some of you might want to do work against freezer spells. Something about getting you stuck. Not only in a, like, stuck where you are, but also stuck in a cycle of losses so that you don't, stuck in a cycle of losses so you don't get past a certain line that ensures your forward movement. And this can be financial or it can be energetic. There's like a line that's been drawn that they don't want you to cross. Both of them want to come out, okay. We do have Three of Cups at the bottom. This is Cancer energy. Second decan of Cancer, so 10 to 20 degrees Cancer might be of significance to you. Three of Cups. Overarching theme, the Hierophant. So when the Three of Cups comes out sometimes, it really does make me feel like it's guides celebrating. It's guides celebrating. Hierophant. This is graduation. This is union, inner union. This is a lesson, a major lesson that must be, something major that must be overcome. In the challenge position, we do have the Emperor. So we've got two major arcanas so far. In the position of what is, what you're not seeing. Two of Pentacles. What I'm feeling here is it's like it's saying that everything is coming together. Okay? In the challenge position with the Emperor as a challenge is this energy of something or someone trying to dominate this reality, trying to even be like a bully. This is, you know, distorted or toxic masculine energy trying to throw its weight around. It doesn't have to be a man, but it's trying to throw its weight around, and it's trying to have power over things that are outside of its jurisdiction. Trying to have power over things that are outside its jurisdiction. That's what it is. The best way to navigate, you do have the Six of Swords and the Ace of Wands. That's beautiful energy. So this is Aquarius energy, and this is like Aries. It's Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, but I like to think of it as being, you know, a little bit more connected to Aries energy. So the best way, keep on moving forward. Keep on moving keep on moving in your power. That's what the Six of Swords is. Keep on moving in your power. Keep on moving in the capacity of your truth. That's the Six of Swords. And the Ace of Wands is also speaking about, you know, moving in the direction of your creativity, moving in the direction of your passion. It also speaks about maintaining this energy of being fired up, being feisty, like to not let that be dampened, to move in the direction where that has its best expression, so your energy can flow. The Ace of Wands is very much connected with your creative spark as a creator. So move in that direction, because this energy wants to take you into stagnancy. It wants to take you into the opposite direction. It wants to have you feel unstable, when really everything is being balanced out, so that your material reality can begin to change and flourish. And not for nothing, the Two of Pentacles is it's like when you're dealing with minor arcana energy, you're dealing with the day-to-day things. You're dealing with smaller energy. So what I feel like, it's like there are certain things that are being sorted out in your material reality, even if it's invisible to you. There are certain things that are being figured and sorted out in your material reality to build a foundation, the foundation that you need in order to move forward, and for that foundation to be stable. And another message, 244, that's coming through here is that the Two of Pentacles is the first decan of Cancer season. Okay, so that is right around the time of the winter solstice. Okay, when we enter into Capricorn season, Capricorn is the sign that kicks off the fourth and final quarter of the zodiac wheel. As such, it's cardinal energy, it's cardinal earth. So it's the kick off for when the energies begin to materialize that are based upon what it is that has been accomplished mentally and emotionally through the first three quarters of the zodiac. So Aries through Sagittarius. And then you begin to see the materialization of these energies. So in other words, just to break it down very quickly for you. So the first quarter of the zodiac wheel is Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. Okay, and that's where we begin to establish the mental energies we need to move forward in the new year. Meaning we begin to elevate our minds to match what it is we desire to accomplish. And then the second quarter of the zodiac wheel is Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. That's when we begin to do the work in our emotional fields, and we align our hearts with this new higher mind. Okay? Then the calibration of the fields to ready you for the new reality that's birthed materially through the final quarter occurs in the third quarter. That is Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius season. So Libra season is about the calibration of the heart and the mind, the new heart and the new mind. And Scorpio energy is about the clearing out, the shedding of the energies that can't move forward now that this new resonance or frequency is being established, or has been through Libra. And then Sagittarius energy is about walking it out, moving forward now and walking in this higher resonance. And then what begins to occur through Capricorn season is the material result of all of the sublimation of the work begins to materialize through Capricorn. It doesn't mean everything occurs at once, but it means it begins to take on material form, or that's what these energies are here to support. So I say that because something is being stabilized for you. There might be a shift for you in your material reality come Capricorn season. Come Christmas time is really what it is. Okay? So we have Cancer energy, second decan, 10 to 20 degrees. We have Taurus, Aries. We have Capricorn energy, 0 to 10 degrees. We have Aquarius energy, 10 to 20 degrees. And then we have Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Okay? Alrighty. So yeah, that's what I have for you. I hope that this reading was helpful and insightful. If it was, please make sure to hit the like button, unless you're a hater, in which case, do what haters do. Keep on hating. See if it hurts me more than it hurts you. I don't need your little like that you don't want to give, okay? Anyway, for more information on how to work with me one-to-one, you can find that out on my website, solarah.info. That information is in the description box below. Thank you so much to the beautiful soul who donated a new deck to the channel. I did receive it. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for your donations. For those of you who would like to sow into my work and my expansion, you can do so through the link to my PayPal, which is in the description box below. Also, for those of you who are interested in joining me over on Substack, the link for that is also in the description box below. On Substack, I have monthly and yearly or annual subscriptions, but I also have free subscriptions, and through the free subscription you would receive one newsletter or article a week. So there are still options. There's still the option to join me over at Substack for free, for those of you who weren't aware of that. And what else? Oh, and I have another channel. My other channel is called Solarah Rises, and that's where I look more closely at the planetary energies through the lens of tarot astrology. So I will be back there probably next week to do the new moon in Scorpio reading, but if you're interested in any of the past energies, you can go and check them out over there, okay? I think that's it. I think that's it. I wish you guys love, joy, peace, stability. I wish that you stay remembering who the fuck you are, and that you stay in the truth of that energy, in the wholeness of that energy, and no fucking spell or illusion can pull you out of that shit. Yes, I will see you again soon. Until next time, be well.